bore da. Welcome back to the last edition of Time Travel Tuesday for October, the haunted history version of Time Travel Tuesday, because next week we shall be in November, back to normal probably. Before I start this week, a couple of announcements. Obviously, as it's November next week, that means the next edition of my monthly newsletter will be going out, so please have a look in the bio, sign up by the link if you haven't done so already. Otherwise I shall be forced to share the video of me dancing like a brat to tell you why I should sign up to my newsletter. And also I've got a really good blog post coming out this evening. It's a review post, but it's like the most detailed one I've ever done because I really love these products, so keep an eye out for that one as well. But let's dive into this week's Time Travel Tuesday, and if you haven't already guessed, we're at the Skewered Inn in Monmouthshire, which is probably one of the most notoriously haunted properties in the whole of Wales. So to be completely transparent, this week I have been having some help from the Historic Pubs of Wales book, which was kindly gifted to me by Graham, the author. Many thanks again, Graham. There's a feature about this book on my blog if you want to learn more about it, but it's just a really interesting book full of stories from the Historic Pubs of Wales. If you've got a relative that likes proper old traditional pubs, then this will probably make a really good Christmas gift. And I turned to this one because the Skewered Inn in Monmouthshire, it's one of the claimants to the title of the oldest pub in Wales. Once you actually start digging into it, you realise, oh, that's probably not so true. And I thought, oh yes, I know exactly the book to turn to help me with this week's Time Travel Tuesday. So I'm going to be telling you more about the spooky history of this place using this book. But really, if you're in like the Black Mountains area, if you could go to discover Llanantri Priory, Cwmioe, Partishad, that part of the world, this is a great place to stop. So there's loads of stories and legends and ghostly stories associated with this building. One of them is about Owain Glyndwr, because they believe he used this building as a bit of a rallying point during his rebellion, and the legend goes there's the mounting steps outside that he used. But inside the building there's loads of spooky stuff, and this place actually was used as a courtroom, a local courtroom. And the most famous story goes that it was after the Monmouth Rebellion, and Judge Jeffreys was going around doing his thing, and he came to this part of the world to punish the men who'd been involved in the rebellion. And legend goes they hanged about 180 people in the inn. If you go there, if you visit the inn, they've got a very long multi-layered staircase, and the story goes that the rope, the noose was hung in the middle of that staircase, and you can still see the beam with all the marks on today, so really spooky. You only have to give this place a bit of a Google to realise, how haunted it's supposed to be. It's got all the usual kind of stories and activities associated with it. Cold spots, funny noises, doors slamming, glasses breaking, everything. One of the most famous ghosts associated with this building is that of a lady called Fanny Price, and it's believed she was a barmaid who worked here back in the 18th, 19th century. She died of TB, and she's actually buried in the graveyard just across the road, and hers is probably the most famous spirit. And there's also a story, I'm going to have to take this one from the book. There's a little stone shelf that's in the kind of fireplace. You can imagine, given the age of this building, massive, great big fireplace inside the main bar, and you put a tankard in there full of liquid at the end of the day, at the end of the night, and when you come down in the morning, it's empty, and spooky.